What is up, everyone? Today I'll be showcasing a very nice team for the Open Great League running Shadow, Magnezone and Annihilape. This team was absolutely amazing for me. It was super consistent and gained me a bunch of rating over the 10 plus sets that I played it. I even made it to page 2, number 57 on the global leaderboard here when it updated yesterday. But ever since then I've gained another 30 points. So maybe when it updates today I'll be page 1. That would be pretty nice. Honestly, I try not to pay too much attention to the global leaderboard, but getting to page 1 every season is a bit of a goal of mine, so let's hope I reach that today. By the way, the majority of these battles were done on my Twitch live stream, so if you want to see me figure out these teams live, go check me out there. I would say the streams are good fun and I really enjoy the community we've built over there, so definitely go check it out. Anyway, let's head into these battles, starting off with a bad lead, Annihilape. I switch into Pelipper here. Pelipper is a pretty decent pivot in this meta. It's definitely not amazing because there are electric types which absolutely wall Pelipper, especially if you get a Lantern into your Pelipper. It's just game over. But that's a bet I'm willing to take against fighting leads. Generally, my experience have been that against fighting leads you can switch in Pelipper and usually it's not an electric type. So that works out here. I throw a Weather Ball hoping they shield, but I let it go, and then I throw the Hurricane. The reason I threw the Hurricane is because I figured that a Weather Ball would not knock out yet. It may barely hang on, and then barely hanging on is much worse than them shielding a potential Hurricane. Because now that they've shielded the Hurricane, I'm a shield up, and I can fully farm down this Wigglytuff with my Magnezone. Generally, against fighting type leads, this is what you're gonna want to do. If you cannot get switch advantage. If you can get switch advantage, go for switch advantage. But in this case, I could never. In that case, you want to go for a shield advantage and try to get a farm out with Magnezone because Wild Charge hits everything insanely hard. Annihilape almost gone there. Instant switch into my own Annihilape now, which he responds to with a Sableye, which he actually just brought immediately, knowing that his Annihilape was just going to get farmed down by whatever I had in the back. Switches in Sableye instantly, which is not great for Annihilape. But I get the Ice Punch bait. I'm going to reach the Shadow Ball just barely. This has to knock out the Sableye. If this knocks out Sableye, I'm in an okay spot. Does knock out Sableye. And luckily my counter knocks out their Annihilape and I win that game. GG. Another fighter lead, a Vigoroth switch into Pelipper. This is a lot more uncomfortable than the Annihilape lead, to be honest, because this thing can still throw Rock Slides at Pelipper, but instead this Vigoroth actually just opts to throw for a Body Slam before I'm able to throw a Weather Ball and then dip into Mandibuzz. This is a good play by my opponent, I would say. Chip my Pelipper, bring in Mandibuzz, and now he can make sure he maintains switch advantage. But this is, again, kind of fine with me, because if I just chip the Mandibuzz enough, I can farm it down with my Magnezone and have a Wild Charge loaded for the Vigoroth. And then my Annihilape will be a shield up. And Annihilape with a shield up and a little bit of an energy lead is very dangerous. Unless they have a Fairy type, Annihilape with a shield up does incredible stuff. So going according to plan now, I farmed out a Mandibuzz. I would have liked a little bit more farm there, but this is okay. I still get to the Wild Charge. Again, I throw one Volt Switch. I wait one turn to make sure the third counter registers before I throw the Wild Charge. Because if I don't do that, the third counter will do, the damage will apply with the dropped defense, so it will do a lot more. So now I actually keep my Magnezone alive because of that, with a little more HP. Bring out my Annihilape. They actually instant switch to Cresselia. Great play by them. And now I just have to hope Annihilape can win this going double Shadow Ball. I do know I can outpace a double Shadow Ball before Cresselia gets her triple Grass Knot, as it's 16 counters, so 16 two-turn attacks for 2 Shadow Balls, and it's 17 for 3 Grass Knots. So I get to the second Shadow Ball here, but is this enough? Cresselia is very tanky, so it may have not knocked out, but it does knock out. And now Annihilape is up versus Vigoroth, and this is one of the best matchups that Annihilape can see, and my opponent knows it, so they concede the match. GG. Okay, next lead, Dragonair lead. Dragonair lead is honestly one of the toughest you can face. This is not a bad lead for Magnezone at all. You can win the 2s here pretty consistently, and the 1s if you can hit a Wild Charge. Which I already can't, because my opponent no shielded a Mirror Shot, but I can still go for the 2 shields here, which is still okay with me. So we're gonna shield that up. Throw the next Mirror Shot once I get to the Aqua Tail. I do with CMP here, so I felt safe throwing after 6 Volt Switches there. I let that go. Out comes Annihilape now. I stay in. I throw the Mirror Shot. I'm always expecting a Lantern in the back here, so I want to save my Annihilape for that. I was really hoping they would shield up that attack, by the way, because if they shield up that attack, then my Annihilape is 1 shield versus Lantern. It has some play there, but 2 shields up Lantern is unfortunately extremely difficult to deal with for this team, so I concede the match, as I don't think my Annihilape Pelipper would have been able to manage that. Actually, I know it wouldn't have. So that is one of the major issues with this team, actually. Lantern in the back is a major problem. Lantern in the lead is actually ideal because Magnezone can take the 1 and 2 shields just straight wild charge. So all the Lantern leads I faced were pretty easy to deal with, but Lantern in the back is very, very difficult. Anyway, next match, we got Alolan Sandslash. This is another kind of awkward lead, especially if they have Shadow Claw. With Powder Stone, this is very fine. With Shadow Claw, they can be very annoying. And throw an Ice Punch before you even throw an attack. And this is very annoying, because they can farm me down before you get to 2 attacks. The first time I faced someone using this strategy, I Mirror Shot, and it didn't knock out. And they let it go. So this time I went for the Wild Charge, assuming they're gonna let it go. They bring it, which I did. Now comes out Azumarill. I thought I would go down to the bubble because my defense rush dropped, so I'd go for the Mirror Shot, but I actually could have gone for a Volt Switch there and still get to the Wild Charge, which would have been insane, because I would have been able to grab a shield probably, or pretty much knock out the Azumarill. But unfortunately, I did not realize I would survive that bubble, and they know it's just a Mirror Shot, so I let it go. This is still not the worst scenario though, because I get my Pelipper on Azumarill. That's where I really like Pelipper, because it can win this matchup in 2s pretty consistently. Straight Hurricane, maybe even once now, because I did get that little bit of Mirror Shot chip. That may be quite vital. Also, my Annihilape avoids the Azumarill, which is very nice. It's not a great matchup for Annihilape at all. Gotta go for another Hurricane. They shield. I'm assuming they're very weak to Pelipper in the back, so I'm gonna save it with a Weather Ball stored. Bring out an Annihilape to catch an Ice Beam. If this was a play rough, be game over. But luckily, just an Ice Beam. They can stay in now and throw another Ice Beam or Play Rough at me before I get to the Shadow Ball, which I am going to respect. Even if it is like an Annihilape counter in the back, I have Ice Punch loaded, I have Shadow Ball loaded, that's a lot of energy, and nothing really wants to take these attacks. So I throw Ice Punch here, and I feel like this may have been a bit of a mistake. There were still 2 bubbles off the Ice Beam, so I could have overfarmed a little more. Luckily though, it doesn't really matter, because I have an Ice Punch still ready to throw this Gligar, and then I have a Weather Ball stored, which should be able to finish it off. Yeah, this is a lot. Doesn't do quite enough, but since I have the Weather Ball stored, should be pretty easy. Take out the Gligar. The Azu is still in the back, but should only have 1 HP, so Pelipper core breaks this team and takes out the Gligar into Azumarill. GG. Alright, this is an awkward lead, honestly. Like, you want to stay in here, but the problem is that Chargerbug outpaces you and knocks you out in 2 X-Scissors. So I generally I found a way to play this, which has been pretty consistent, but it kind of depends on the Chargerbug's IVs. What I like to do is I like to build 2 Wild Charges. They would usually throw an X-Scissor before you get to the 2 Wild Chargers. You throw the Wild Charge. I've never seen the Chargerbug not no-shield this. If they shield it, it may be a little bit more awkward, but since I no-shield, I'm just gonna let go. And then I bring out Annihilape to farm down. Most Chargerbug I found, I'm able to farm this down before they get to this discharge. But this is a really good Chargerbug, and they're actually able to get there, which puts me in a very rough spot, especially with that Skarmory in the back. Once Magnezone is gone, Skarmory is difficult to deal with. Both Annihilape and Pelipper have a lot of play though, so it's not the worst. I go for the Shadow Ball, hoping for no shield, but in hindsight, I think a shield there was pretty obvious, so I could have definitely gone for the bait there, and it would not have even been that risky. Anyway, I bring up Pelipper now. I could have considered staying in. I wasn't sure if I was going to reach the Shadow Ball, the second Shadow Ball versus Skarmory, so I decided to dip out. But I definitely could have considered just staying in. They're going to throw another attack here. And this is, yeah, it's pretty bad. I need to get to 3 attacks before they get to one of their own, which I think I would have been able to, but they bring out Cresselia now. Cresselia is just a huge freaking sponge. Like, it can take these attacks way, way too easily. I throw Weather Ball first, which is probably a mistake. Hurricane is slightly more efficient than Weather Balls, so... And I wasn't expecting a shield, so... Should probably gone for that first. Now, I just try to put it all on Pelipper, so I try to catch a Future Sight here, which it did end up being. That's just incredible for me. Bring out Pelipper again. I have to throw my attack before they can even get to a Grass Knot. By the way, my opponent going for Future Sight there, I think was a bit unnecessary, because Grass Knot would have almost been enough. But, you know, we take that. When you're in such a bad position, you gotta play to your Wincon, and my Wincon was them going for Future Sight, so that's why I caught there. I'm playing to a Wincon again. Hurricane may seem like an idiotic play, and it is, which exactly why my opponent no-shields, and I actually take that win. They should have never no-shielded there, but since they were thinking, oh, it's just gonna go for Weather Ball, it does not knock me out. They let it go, and we win the game. GG. Sableye lead is also another very awkward lead for me. I haven't quite figured out how to play this just yet. If I go straight for Wild Charge, it just makes it so that the Sableye can just farm me down. So what I try to do is go for Mirror Shot immediately, because that might make him believe I'm going for Wild Charge and dipping out later. But this trainer actually lets it go, which, yeah, means that I'm gonna have to use a shield first, and then I get to the Mirror Shot here. But if they let it go, I'm shield down. If they shield it, I've lost switch. So it's not great. Luckily though, I found a lot of Sableye leads do not have like more Annihilape answers. Some do, some don't. I'm hoping this one though doesn't. So I farm around with Annihilape, ends up being Charizard. That's pretty bad. I farm to Shadow Ball. I go for it. This is a mistake. Like Ice Punch, they always shield there. I should have just gone for Ice Punch, to be honest. But they don't shield the first attack. I thought this guy was a freaking maniac and would just let that go maybe, but no, they made a sensible call there. Shield with Shadow Ball, and it's Lantern in the back. And yeah, again, Lantern in the back. Unfortunately, nothing I can do there. GG. Lickitung lead. This is a fine lead. Opponents can make this very uncomfortable if they throw their Body Slam on CMP with the second Wild Charge. So what I always do here is I farm up to 2 Wild Charges and then throw one. And if the Lickitung throws exactly when I'm throwing, that means they CMP tie with me and my defense will be dropped right now, and they would be able to like throw a Body Slam, you know? But since they threw before, I just let it go and now catch a second Body Slam on Annihilape. This is kind of a risky play, because usually there's going to be answers to Annihilape in the back, but like Azumarill, I've faced several Lickitung Azumarill lines, and it's not the best, but generally I've been able to play out of that, since Annihilape still puts in work, especially with that 1 counter lead. In this Talonflame matchup, I was able to outpace the Talonflame to a Shadow Ball before they got to the fly, and they're actually forced to shield up. Again, another scenario where I could have considered Ice Punch baiting, but getting the guaranteed shield there was nice too. My opponent makes a bit of an error here and allows them to get to the Weather Ball before they get to another fly. But that's fine with me. We got another shield. I'm assuming they're very weak to Pelipper in the back right now, so I definitely want to shield these up. They're going to get to another one right about now, which I shield up. After the first fly or Flame Charge, the next flies are all 2. For at least, if you throw Flame Charge, the next 2 flies are 2 Incinerates. So the first one is 3, and then the Flame Charge is 3, and then the next flies are 2 Incinerates. And if you throw Fly, it's the first is 3, and then the next 3 are 2. Anyway, bye-bye, Jellicent. That Wild Charge. So this, actually, we skipped over this, but this is the reason why I keep the Wild Charge stored. Like, throwing an attack at a Lickitung that's like this low with Magnezone is such a waste that I prefer to switch into Annihilape, because then you can do something like this later on where you just completely annihilate whatever is in the back with a Wild Charge. Just boom. This is why Magnezone is nice. Bye-bye. Alright. Anyway, that was a great battle. Skeledirge. Skeledirge is probably the worst thing you can see in the lead. Talonflame would be fine, because Magnezone is played there, but Skeledirge is very awful, because Incinerators do so much to Magnezone. You're forced to switch out immediately. I bring out Pelipper. I felt safe switching in Pelipper versus Skeledirge generally, because usually it's not an electric type in the back, as that'd be very weak to Whiscash. I'm not saying that it's never going to be electric type, but it's just more unlikely, because that's a very risky line to run from the opponent. So, but yeah, it's an Altaria this time, which is also not great for Pelipper. However, the nice thing is that I can get a lot of energy with Magnezone. I can fire one more Volt Switch into the Skeledirge, throw the Mirror Shot. I actually thought I was one more Volt Switch away from the Wild Charge here, so I tried doing another Volt Switch there, but I still tapped on the Wild Charge. Anyway, this was a mistake. I should have done one more Volt Switch and then Wild Charge, because I would have survived the Incinerate anyway, and then I would have still had my Magnezone alive there with like 1 HP, but that's still useful for a catch later. But now it's just through the Wild Charge, immediately the full Incinerate snuck through, and yeah, it knocked me out since the damage registered after I got damaged. Anyway, opponent has Cresselia in the back, so I don't think it really mattered in the end. It's just too much for Annihilape to get through. Even if I had a catch, maybe if I had a catch it would have been possible, but I don't think my timer would have been up, so it is what it is. GG. And now, my favorite reason to run Magnezone is because it's pretty okay versus these Charmers. though. As you can see, Charms are doing a lot. It's not great. It's that's the thing with Magnezone. It's super squishy, and it's just not great versus Charmers, but it generally does win. My opponent tries to catch a mirror shot on Victory Bell here, which I didn't let him catch, but I'm happy to oblige and throw my mirror shots anyway, since this is probably the best matchup I have. I mean, Pelipper is a fine matchup versus Victory Bell too, but those Razor Leaves really add up. So if I can get rid of it, that's awesome. Also, I'm expecting Bastiodon in the back, so just getting Switch here will be amazing, because now I can get Annihilape on Bastiodon, and this is what you love to see, unless you're my opponent, because I know it's over. GG, right there. Anyway, that was it for the battles. Hope you enjoyed. I can definitely recommend this team because it's a lot of fun, but it's definitely not an easy one to run, as especially Shadow Magnezone takes a lot of precision to play well. However, if you can get that down, it's just a blast. So try it out, I would say. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Good luck with your battles, trainers.